What if I told you that one of the biggest myths in product management is completely wrong and is probably holding back your career right now? Well, today's guest is going to blow that myth apart. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Hey everyone, I'm Mike. Welcome back to Mike Makes Stuff and Sometimes Breaks It, the channel where we dive deep into the real stories behind successful products and, yeah, sometimes the spectacular failures too. If you're new here, I'm on a mission to interview the sharpest product minds I could find. PMs, marketing managers, instructors, people who've been in the trenches building products that matter. This is all part of my series exploring the lessons we've learned from Pragmatic. Because, let's be honest, theory's great, but real-world application, that's where the magic happens. Today I'm sitting down with Tony Sterling, a principal product manager with over 25 years of experience, who went from help desk support to managing North American sales engineers to becoming the third US employee at his current company. But here's what makes Tony's story fascinating. He's living proof that the best product managers don't start in product at all. Tony's going to share why he believes the you have to be technical myth is holding people back, and how his support background actually gave him superpowers as a PM. We're going to dig into Tony's unique perspective on the translation layer that product management plays, and why customer empathy from support backgrounds is a secret weapon, and his philosophy of focus on the what, not the how. You'll also hear about his take on ransom notes from prospects, how his company brings customers directly into Figma sessions, and the one piece of advice about handling disagreements with senior stakeholders that could change your career trajectory. Before we jump in, if you're getting value from these conversations with product professionals, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It really helps the channel grow. And definitely stick around until the end, because Tony reveals his secret weapon for never missing crucial customer insights during meetings. All right, let's dive in. Hi guys, Tony, thank you for joining us. You're my first guest. I'm going to be testing the waters with you on this YouTube venture. You're an early adopter, which feels pretty appropriate considering we're both in the product space. At the end of this, please give me feedback on my interview techniques and how it felt. Obviously, the sooner I get feedback on my prototype, the better I can make the product. For people who don't know yet, introduce yourself, give a 30-second version of who Tony Sterling is and where he came from.
So, Tony Sterling, my current title is Principal Product Manager. I got my start over 20 years ago, about 25 years ago, in doing help desk tech support for a software company. I started out doing regular tech support and moved up very quickly. I love a challenge, never shied away from a hard ticket, and then moved on from tech support into professional services, and then into technical product management. From there, moved into consulting and ended up my last company. I started out as the first US employee, which was cool. Grew that business up and eventually was managing all of the customer facing technical people. Yeah, then my current company was the third employee. Wow. Again, running the North American SEs, until I moved back into product management about a year ago.
Tony and I met through the Pragmatic alumni community, and I asked him to come on. His background's very similar to mine. I was mostly in the restaurant tech space. I was an installer, I was a QA engineer, I was a QA test manager, a project manager, technical services manager, ran the help desk for a couple years. So it's interesting that you've been all over the place and around product. What translated best in those skills that you learned to bring it into the product management space?
Great question. I think about this a lot. Really working with customers shoulder to shoulder. My experience as a consultant, support, doing designs and implementations, and just working with the customer to meet the same goal of getting a successful project, successful deployment, and then understanding the challenge they face from their perspective, and then knowing the developers and working with the development team as a back-end engineer, senior help desk support guy, right? And being able to bridge that gap between the two. Because a lot of times you don't want your developers to talk to people because they have no filter.
What you do is you take the specifications from the customers and you bring them down to the software engineers.
Yes, that's right.
Well, then I just have to ask, why couldn't the customers just take them directly to the software people, huh?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because engineers are not good at dealing with customers.
What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
So it's no secret. I'm not giving away anything that nobody doesn't know.
Very true.
No, when the sales guy, hey, can we get Dev on a call? No, that's why I'm here. Just having that experience and knowing what it's like, and then understanding from the development perspective the challenges they're facing, and being able to explain the customer problem in a way that they understand, and the development problem to the customers in a way that they can appreciate. So I think that's my greatest strength, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. People who aren't in the product field sometimes. So, what does a product manager do? We're the translation layer between all the different departments. Coming from a support background, I'm assuming that gave you a lot of empathy from the user/customer side of the products. Like, nobody calls support to tell you everything's going great.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times you're talking to people at a very bad moment in time. Something's happened, depending on the software you use. So particularly in my current company, we do backup and recovery. If someone's calling us, they've had to do something, right? So they've had to recover something. And so when they're having those challenges, it's just meeting them at a very bad place and then trying to solve that problem. But that was one of the things that helped me progress through my career. Never shying away from the hard problem. I love to solve problems. I'm naturally curious. That's mostly a good thing.
Absolutely, especially in the product space. Now, when you transitioned into product, did you feel like you were missing anything, or you had to learn anything, or was it just a natural progression of the stuff that you had in your toolbox?
Yeah, I'm still learning, and it's like a little bit of that imposter syndrome. It's like I'm sitting here. Sometimes I wake up and it's like, crap, one of these days someone's going to figure out I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I've had some great mentors, excellent managers that point me in the right direction. And the key to my success is the product I inherited was from another product manager named Leah. She queued me up for success. So when I took over, I was able to hit the ground running. And my project manager is literally worth his weight in gold. As a product manager, if you don't have someone driving the projects forward with you, you won't have that much success. I'm very thankful for where I'm at.
That's awesome. Some places that I've been at, you're wearing all hats. They expect you to be the project manager, the product manager. It sounds like your company's very outcome focused as opposed to output focused, which is very nice.
I think there's a balance there, right? Definitely focused on solving the market problems, right? Because if you want a product to sell, you got to solve a problem. But then earlier this year, the entire team went through pragmatic marketing. Awesome. So we actually brought the instructor over to Copenhagen. All of us met there. So spent a couple of days in a room learning as a team. So that put us all speaking the same language, which is very helpful. And there is the desire and the will to be data driven, not just, hey, let's just make this machine that goes bing.
Ah, I see you have the machine that goes bing. This is my favorite. Thank you, thank you. We try to do our best. Well, do carry on.
The outcome is to have a product that is going to solve a market problem and sell. So that's the focus.
So what's your process that you go through? Do the customers they request a feature and then you go through some research and figure out, is it isolated to this one customer? Is it market wide? Yeah. How do you guys handle those kind of things?
So we use a great product called Product Board that is actually integrated into our product. Every customer goes into our interface, they click a button, they're in the product board, they see what we're working on, what we're considering, what we're planning. And if they don't see something on there that they really want, they hit a button, tell us what they want, rate it from 1 to 5, and submit it. For me, looking back at the last things I've delivered this year has been really weighted by customers voting on this. Okay. And not for new workloads that we're introducing and for new features in other products. So you can't go wrong in listening. When you have 61 votes for something, it's okay. We're not just doing this because they're a big company and they might buy our product. These are people that already bought our product. And if we do this, it's going to make it easier. Of course, validating with market research. And one of the things I spend a lot of time doing is talking to customers and validating these ideas and asking a lot of open-ended questions. Because you can go into a meeting with my agenda. I've seen that happen by a bad product manager years ago. It's always better when the customers validate it.
It's impressive that you guys are very transparent to your users and showing them they can make the requests and then vote on the various requests.
It's not open to everybody. It's not open to the general public. So we don't want our competitors to steal our great ideas.
Do you also have a portal for your salespeople and your support people, or is it all the same place?
It's part of this product board has that for our internal. So our internal sales can see a little bit more info, right? A little more roadmap. And then not just roadmap, but we're working towards putting in release plans, right? Which is there's that difference between roadmaps, what we're going to do, release plans when we're going to do it, right?
Right.
And that's what sales needs to know. And we do try to encourage sales to sell what is on the truck. I'm not a huge fan of ransom notes, but no one is. I'll buy it if you do it now, or commit to me a time frame.
That's interesting. I've never heard it called a ransom note, but that's an accurate description of
Yeah,
what it is.
absolutely. I have the check you want.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna have to steal that from you. That was one of the things that I learned from Pragmatic is that nothing interesting happens in the office. We need to talk to people who actually use it. How do you handle the ownership of what comes out and what doesn't?
Internal stakeholders sometimes goes all the way up to the board. External is up to C-suite a lot of times because the nature of our business being SaaS backup focused on a lot of Microsoft workloads, but also Salesforce and other SaaS, Jira, Confluence, things like that, right? It depends on who we're talking to. But ultimately that admin has a boss he's reporting to that's, if this goes down or they lose data, yeah, the admin's going to be in trouble, but then suddenly the boss's boss is going to get a call. I still remember way back in the early 2000s, right? You never got fired for buying Blue, basically talking about buying IBM, right? No one ever got fired for buying IBM because they had that name brand in there. So that was the safe bet. So with SaaS, it's obviously a little bit more. Years ago, when I joined with Keep It over 4 years ago, it was still a debate if you needed to back up Microsoft Office 365 or M365 because people just assume that Microsoft secured it. And so when you're talking to these admins and then they go to the boss and say, hey, I think we should buy this, the boss is like, why? It's in Microsoft. So it was an awareness and learning campaign for the first year. Then now, no one asked that. And the C-suite has bought into, oh, yeah, if this goes out, I'm going to be in a world hurt.
And what does your development cycle look like?
We are on 2 week sprint cycle, and we are continuing to evolve and to be able to do that CI/CD, right? Continuous improvement, continuous development. There's no reason why you have to wait 2 weeks to push a feature. If it's done and it's ready to go, that's the beauty of SaaS, right? We own the backboard, and the way we're architected is we have 4 independent technology stacks running at every time.
Nice.
So we can do an upgrade here and it's totally invisible. Upgrade this technology stack, test it, verify it. If it's not right, roll it back and fix it. The goal is to be doing the 2 week sprints, have to work and work your plan, but then nothing stops you from doing those small changes, particularly around bug fixes. And
so getting into product management itself, what parts of the product management task list, what do you like about it? And if I had a magic wand and could do this, I would do it to the product management profession.
If you think about the pragmatic framework, the sales alignment, meeting customers where they're at, doing conferences, doing events, doing speaking engagements, that support, and then things I like the least, that would be like the documentation, the business plan, and the actual, that's the boring stuff, man. I'm sure there are people that love that, but it's just not my favorite. Coming from the SE world, some of my favorite jobs about being an SE was doing demos and talking to new customers and things like that. When I moved into product, I got to do everything I liked about being an SE still. And still to this day, I support my sales team if they need me, want me to jump on with a customer that wants to talk about the roadmap, product roadmap. Nothing important ever happens in the office, right? So getting out of the office as much as they can, whether that be being a customer visit, being a conference, even just remote calls, stuff like that is my favorite part.
Yeah. And so when you're doing customer interviews, are you doing most of them face-to-face, or is it online on Zoom like this, or is it a little mix of both?
It's a mix, not as much face-to-face as I'd like, obviously. A few months ago, we actually brought 3 or 4 customers into our office in Copenhagen. They're all from Europe, and we're able to spend a day with them. And that was a great day, right? Getting to just try to ask them questions and then just listening to them. And they even jumped into a Figma session with us. Yeah, they're all drawing in there. Nothing beats that, right? Yeah. Certainly in person. And then obviously having a nice dinner afterwards and getting to know people at a personal level.
I'm assuming with 2 week sprints, it aligns itself where you can try things out and realize maybe this wasn't the right solution that we wanted.
There are some things that we will actually run through previews and then betas or betas, depending on what part of the world you're from. I personally, in my environment, have connectors for pretty much everything we support right now, even though it's not in my wheelhouse, I'm not responsible for it. I still like to test things out and be able to provide feedback to folks about things. We have several test environments where we'll have things in different phases to be able to validate things are going to work like they want or like we expect. And then I've even shown mock-ups. I had one of my guys, UX folks, draw up a mock-up for me and just share it with the customer. And they'll be like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Good job. I was like,
have you ever had a product feature or function go out where you thought it was the bee's knees and then a customer got a hold of it and was like, you totally missed the boat on this one?
I've had that experience, yes. Yeah, that's very disappointing when something gets pushed out and there's hype about it, and then all of a sudden nobody wants to buy it. Yeah, so you have to have that happen at least once. It'd be like going to bat and hitting a grand slam your first at bat. You might as well just retire because you're not going to get any better. Yeah, it's humbling to do that.
It's nice to work for a place that will allow that to happen as well. Obviously, you don't want that to happen, but I've worked for a number of companies where the motto was either you succeed or you learn. There was no real concept of failure, unless, of course, you weren't doing the work you were supposed to be doing.
Well, and that just helps you to go back to the drawing board and become more data-driven because someone you like said you should do this. You got a customer that you like, they're a great customer, they're great to have a dinner with or whatever, just because they want it. And going back to the ransom note, where I've seen where this prospect is, if you only did this one thing, I could buy that product. And it's been 18 months and he still ain't bought. You got to know where the request is coming from. Is it real? Is he real? Is he sincere? Yeah, he really wants this, but can he or she or they validate or approve that purchase? Are they who you selling to and who's buying? So you learn those things.
What do you think your product management superpower is?
Taking that empathy from the customer perspective, merging it with the business perspective, and then being able to articulate the requirement, the why this is important, why we should do this, why the customer wants this. That may be hard, but at the end of the day, it's going to solve these market problems. I've always been naturally data-driven, right? So I can't underestimate, not just because I have a feeling, oh yeah, I got a feeling if we go over here, this is going to be great. No, I read the reviews and studied the forecast and know that if we're here at this time that we got a greater chance of having a good day, right? Mm-hmm. So it's something I really enjoy, being able to be challenged. I love it when customers challenge me. Why do you do this way? And if I don't have a good answer for why we're doing it this way, then I need to, either learn something or we got to change something. Always learning.
What's your proudest moment as a product manager? Something you brought to market and you're like, just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah. I'm new, right? So this time role, and the product I've developed is really new, but adding things, a large customer had a very specific requirement. It was a great idea. We just hadn't done it. And being able to write the requirements, work with my PMO, work with my developers. And when I say work with, they do the work and I just ask the status. And being able to deliver that in a timely manner and close a big deal. And that's always being able to pivot and change and face a current challenge and succeed.
Cool.
And it's something that overall makes the product better.
Yeah. And then I know you mentioned product board. Yeah. Are there any other tools that you use? You're a big spreadsheet guy? Do you use idea boards, that kind of thing?
I'm not a huge spreadsheet guy, but something that has really helped me is a little device called Plod.
Okay.
So this is my godsend because if I'm in a meeting and I'm presenting, I can't really take notes. So having that, be able to transcribe my meeting and summarize my meeting and give me back the notes, and I'm able to then pinpoint, okay, I know he said something about this. Go back, find that relevant, and just make sure that something valid doesn't fall through the cracks. Something, because when customers are talking and you're asking them why they want this feature, what problem they're trying to solve, and that's gold, right? That's coming. And then when you're able to then go back and say, this was mentioned like 5 times. I've talked to 10 customers and 5 of them have said this. So that there may be something there. So that's a little secret, not a secret anymore.
That's actually it's a neat segue because that was one of the questions I want to ask you is Blood's AI driven and there's all sorts of tools. There's meeting transcriptions and there's chatbots and all that. Are you guys, is there any market stuff coming from you guys about putting AI in your product or are you using any AI tools to help you through the day and that kind of stuff?
As a company, we are taking a cautious approach to AI adoption. We're using AI as a tool. And we're just very careful about what we put into it. For me personally, I do use AI, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and the different ones have different strengths. You, as a product manager, you can't not use AI because you'll just lose time.
Yeah.
AI will never replace me. I won't say never, but me using AI will make sure it doesn't replace me as fast because
good point.
There's loads of data out there and be able to parse through it quickly and efficiently. And even Pragmatic, they had an AI course that they're developing.
Yep.
And so they asked for beta testers. And I was able to take part of that. And it was just really good learning the prompts. And just that's the thing is learning how to prompt successfully and efficiently to get through the junk because you can't get too much data back. So it's just like Google. If you know how to search, you know how to phrase your search, you're going to be much more effective than Google, show me this, and you get 10 million articles, and what you need is number 9,005,032.
You have to go down the whole list, yeah.
So I appreciate how my company is adopting AI and how we're approaching it, and the nature of our product. There's even some things a customer could do with AI in our product.
Oh, okay.
Because we're API. Yeah, cool. So we're exploring opportunities there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I found one that helped me a lot was Notebook LM.
Yes.
Google, because I've been able to like put a ton of like actual data that I know is real and valid and I don't have to worry about hallucinations, and it consolidates that and gives me like patterns that I might have missed. If I'm looking at 20 different PDFs, I can look at all of them at the same time.
Yeah, you gotta, there's no avoiding it. Even with, I do some volunteer work at my local VFW and I'm helping out with some social media stuff. Hey, give me a engaging post about burger night, right?
Yeah.
And it spits out some facts and puts in the emoticons and stuff I would never naturally think to do because, I mean, I'm just like, hey, come eat burgers.
Yeah.
And it ended up getting over 400 views. And we end up with which for the small town I'm in is not bad. And sitting there at burger night and it's pretty busy. So it may not have been me, but I'm claiming it because
you had to press the keys to put the prompt in.
I had to find my emoticon keyboard so I could put the emojis.
Yeah. All right. Best piece of product management advice you've ever received?
Focus on the what, not the how.
Ooh, that's a good one. Love the problem, not the solution. Yeah. Biggest product management myth that needs to die?
You have to be technical.
Ooh, that's a good one. One tool you can't live without is PM. We already covered that.
That'd be product board for me.
And then if you could go back and tell your pre-PM self one thing, what would it be?
Don't acquiesce to someone just because they've been doing it longer.
Ooh, I like that one.
You got to have that confidence in yourself. You don't have to just disagree. You back up your feelings with, voice your insights, back it up with data, and do it respectfully, depending on who they are.
Yeah. I worked for a company that like stole Amazon's philosophy, but didn't really understand it. And so they were like, just like Amazon, disagree and commit. And to them, it meant that you can disagree all you want, but you have to commit to the way I tell you to do things. What do you think about this whole process? How did we do? Did we do all right? Was it good for you, Tony?
Yeah, it's great. I enjoyed my first time a lot as a product manager. I've been interviewed. Love the format, Mike. He's very awesome from just our first conversation via LinkedIn, right? I want to work with this guy, right? I want to continue on even after this. And
absolutely.
One recommendation, we could have maybe like a glass of bourbon. Do these in the evenings.
Absolutely, yes. Product and cocktails or something. I'll have to go to ChatGPT and find some catchy little title.
Exactly, yeah. Since I'm in the SaaS backup and recovery space, I actually have this Twitter handle. I haven't done anything with it yet, called the SaaS Bar.
Nice.
The SaaS bar, backup and recovery. But my whole idea is to do some drunk history. So everything's better with bourbon. So
100%. So thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate you taking the time talking with me. Looking forward to chatting with you in the future on this or off this. Spread the word to your product manager friends if they want to come on the show.
Absolutely. All right, man.